Sydney was talking about her and Tyler met on Tinder.
Difference.
Zach and I met on
dare.
Hinge. Well, I just got my... You guys, I'm autistic, and the wires got mixed up. You're making fun of me for my verbal processing.
Oh, Crystal, whatever. You got a disability, so now we have to be nice to you. Whatever.
Hi, and welcome to Discovering Divergency, where we discuss our lives navigating late diagnosed neurodivergency. I am Crystal, your ADHD OT.
I'm Amanda, your ASD PsyD.
And I'm Sydney, your optimistic autistic.
And today we're going to be discussing what it's like for us being in our current relationships and discovering our autism, ADHD. But before we get into that, I was wondering if there was anything that stuck with you guys from last week's episode about social obligations and, if you had any discoveries.
I did, and then I forgot it. It's like when I get to therapy and I'm like, what do you want to talk about today?
Happened. Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah,
Nothing.
I wrote things down so I could remember. Well, I have a Bob Ross update.
Oh.
I should not have put him there, but he's looking
He
a
looks
little
amazing.
wild.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Wow. That bloomed so well.
We've been growing. He's leaking, but we've been growing.
How big does it get? Like, are you going to have to trim it at some point, or is it just going to go wild forever?
I don't know. I think this is probably as long as it'll get. It says, like, once it gets... It looks like it might getting a little moldy over here. But it says that once it gets, like, leggy, you just, like, take it off and, like, you can redo it. But
Will you explain what it is to all of our audio listeners?
Right.
Oh, yes. Sydney and Amanda got me a Bob Ross chia pet. So I've been growing his head. Or his hair, I guess. His head is there. And it's lovely. It's really fun to, like, pet. It feels really nice.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like, and it doesn't, like, come off. Like, I can, like, actually pet it.
I feel like I've never actually seen someone in real life have a chia pet. I just feel like I've seen, like, thousands of commercials through my childhood of it.
Yeah, same. I also had a discovery. I think we talked about it a little bit. I listened to this audio comedy.
Oh, yeah.
It's called It's a Superpower by Autism. There's one episode out, and it's written by and for autistic people, and it was cool. It was funny. I liked it a lot. There's a character that is Sydney.
I've got to watch.
Zach and I were like, it's Sydney. Oh, yep, that's Sydney.
That's great.
I hope that's a good thing.
Yeah, there's this, like, it just, like, was very, I think she made cupcakes for it's an autism support group, and she's like, oh, I brought cupcakes, and I made vanilla, but then I thought maybe people would want chocolate, but then I was sleeping, and I woke up, and I realized, what if people are vegan? So then I made the vegan cupcakes in case the people were vegan.
Yeah,
so I
that's
really
me.
hope someone's vegan, but it's okay if you're not vegan. Like, no, it's fine. I just was, like, hoping that somebody was so that they could eat these cupcakes.
Yeah, that's me.
So funny.
Okay, yeah, I gotta listen to this. It's on my list.
It was like a half hour long too.
Yeah.
And it's really well done. I think it's really well produced. It's not a podcast. It's an audio, like
Like an audio book type of vibe.
better. It's like an audio story. Like there's like sound background. Like you're supposed to wear headphones. We did listen to it in the car, but I think it still got the same effect. But it's like you're watching TV without the visual, you know?
That's cool.
It's cool.
Speaking of, like, books, I finished a book this weekend.
Ooh!
And it doesn't sound like much, but I don't really read. I have had so much, like, struggle in my life with reading. And it's not just, like, I don't like books. It's, like, reading has given me in my life, like, physiological distress, and I would have meltdowns and shutdowns, and I would just, like, I couldn't read. I mean, I could read. I know how to read. I just, like, I physically, like, couldn't bring myself to do it. And so, like, through school, I didn't really read the books. I luckily had, I learned about Spark Notes. That was the best thing ever. But I've read very few of the books in middle school and high school. Sorry to all my teachers who are going to listen to this. But I was a good student, I swear. But anyway, I read a book. I mean, I've read a couple books. in the last few years, but I like read a book like fast. Like I like read the book. I read it every night. It was so good. It was the first Bridgerton book, and I highly recommend it if you are of age. It was great. Like I'm very excited to read the next one. I don't think I've ever felt excited to read another one. When I read A Little Less Broken, I could have read a sequel to that there isn't one. Like I loved that book. Yeah. So that doesn't really, it's similar, but it doesn't really count. I'm like excited to read the next one of these. And I feel very proud of myself that I read a book in a reasonable amount of time.
I read a lot of books this week.
This week?
Yeah. Reading has become my hyperfixation this year, like books in general. I'm obsessed with the library. We have like such a cool library. There's a library of things, and they have summer reading bingo for adults. I can feel like my ADHD coming out of like I'm hyperfixated, like I'm reading, I am consuming, like I am not enjoying necessarily, I am, but I'm like I need to finish the bingo board, and so I have been reading so much. And I'm almost done. I have one more book for the bingo board.
Oh, it's like you read books to fill in the bingo board.
There's books, but then there's also other stuff. Like the library has a thing called Library Chef. Check it out. Maybe your library has it. And they have like virtual cooking classes, but also other types of classes. So I watched a class on meditation. There's so much at the library. Free museum passes. So I have to do that one. And then like go to a local town concert because there's free summer concerts, but it's been raining every Tuesday when the concerts have been supposed to come on, so I haven't been able to. It's just such a it makes me so happy because it is just such a important aspect of our society. Like it's free knowledge. Like everybody can go there. Like it is one of the only places left that you can just go and exist. And you're not expected to pay money. Like you're not expected to do anything. Like I think I went to the library every day last week because I just like my library is also surrounded by like woods and stuff. So I'm like, let me just go read at the library. And like it's not weird that I'm going there and reading every day. And like I don't need to spend money. And now I'm seeing like similar faces. I'm not like talking to them, but I'm like, oh, that guy also comes to the library every day. And there was one day he wasn't there. And I was like, oh, I wonder where that guy is. My library does a communal puzzle, which I love it. I could sit there and I love sorting. So I'm not very good at puzzles, but the part of puzzles I enjoy is sorting because I love to sort things. And so like one day I just went there after work. My library is also open till 9 p.m., which is insane. And I just sat there and just sorted the puzzle pieces. And I was like, and I can just leave. And now someone else will do the next part. And that's so cool.
We have a puzzle at my office. It's not the same.
Oh, that's awesome.
But we have a communal puzzle at my office.
I think I love communal puzzle. That's great.
It's really fun. And also like you don't have to do it all in one sitting. You don't have to like worry about cleaning. I know I have cats, so like you don't have to worry about cleaning it up when you're done and like all the pets ruining it
and the pressure. When it's just me, it's like pressure of like, oh, I have to finish this. But like I'm like, oh, it's okay for someone else to do. That's my love essay on libraries.
Segueing us from our love essay on libraries to one actually like talk about romantic relationships and love and just talk about kind of our romantic relationships.
Yeah, I'm not in a relationship with the library.
Could have fooled me.
True.
Yeah, maybe I am, but not that type. Yeah, so I don't know where to start, honestly. Where do we want to start with this?
I guess I'm wondering, Crystal, if you want to start since you just had your anniversary.
Yeah. So Zach and I just celebrated our 3-year anniversary. We went down to the shore for a couple days and it was fun. Our relationship is, for me, like really unique because I've been like discovering who I am as an autistic person while navigating a new relationship, and I think it's been a really fun. Some parts have not been fun, but like it's a really, I don't know, honoring, like it makes me trust my relationship, because like I've said, like I've purposely been like, okay, let me do this in front of this person, because I don't want to, like, other relationships, I'm like been worried and been like trying to present myself as a certain way to make the relationship work, whereas I'm just trying to find a relationship that works with me.
Is there things that you've noticed in this relationship with like trying to unmask and trying to like learn yourself that you feel like it's different than past relationships?
I mean, everything is different in this relationship, but maybe I'll just bring up one thing of like understanding, or especially in a new relationship. Let's start that. Here is where I will start. Early on in our relationship, and I think in any relationship, like, you want to spend every single second together. Like when you're in that honeymoon phase and like you first meet each other. And I realized, like, even though it's like contradicting of like, I do want to spend every single second with you, but like, I know I cannot. Like, I am going to burn out. And we were in like a medium distance relationship. So like, if we were going to spend the weekend together, like, we couldn't really go back to our own places. Like, we had to spend the whole weekend together. So that was kind of a discussion we had early on of like, I don't want to hurt your feelings. I want to spend all of my time with you, but I need some time to myself, and like trying to navigate that before it gets to the point where I'm like, get away from me, stop touching me, because that's where it's going to end up. And it's like, whoa, this is usually okay. Why is all of a sudden I can't do this? But it's like, because we've been doing this for 48 hours. So like really early on, we established that like we very kindly are like, I love you, I need some crystal time. And like that even was how like we came home from this weekend together, and like we obviously shared at a hotel room. Like I loved our 48 hours, and like came home and I was like, I need some crystal time. Like, get whatever you need from the bedroom. I need like whatever amount of time. It wasn't long, but like we just needed some separate time. And that can feel like a scary conversation, I think, to have. And it's usually me asking for it. And I don't know exactly. I probably would like initially feel hurt when Zach is asking for it, but I think we've done a good job at trying not to feel hurt.
I think it can be hard, like when you're cohabitating with someone, or even just like spending a lot of time together, like your partner learning and understanding like your needs, and that sometimes I may not have anything to do with them. Like, I feel like a lot of times I'm having conversations with my partner being like, I need this right now, but it has nothing to do with you. Like, I love you very much. I love spending time with you. Also, right now I need to be alone. And that can be like challenging to navigate. Or I feel like something else that comes up a lot with us, and maybe you guys have similar experiences, but like I feel like I get touched out, that I'm like, I just don't want to be touched right now. And like my partner is a very touchy-feely person, and I feel like it's like for the most part, we do good with navigating it, but it can be hard at times when like my partner wants to show affection and wants to be touchy-feely, and like I'm just overstimulated, and I'm like, I can't handle any touch at this moment, even if it's just like you trying to cuddle me or you trying to like be loving to me. Like, that can be just difficult to navigate at different times of like, I love you very much. Also, I just don't want to be touched right now.
Yeah, something you said sparked a thought in my brain. In my past relationships, I think that in addition to sometimes them being in the wrong and like maybe being manipulative or like immature or whatever, I think that I projected a lot of my underlying, I'm going to use the word issues, that were undiagnosed, unresolved, unnoticed onto them. And like it was their fault. When I would get in arguments with exes, I would usually automatically be like, it's your fault. Like, it's like how you argue with someone. You're like, you know, I'm right, you're wrong. But in my current relationship, I made a very conscious decision in this relationship not to like do that and not hold grudges and always speak my mind, be honest and communicate. But I've noticed that since getting diagnosed, I have taken a lot of the blame that I had in my mind off of him.
Actually, I think that really resonates with me, and is making me think of, yeah, of course, if I talk, the train comes. It's jealous.
Crystal's in a romantic relationship
Library.
with Zach. She's in a romantic relationship with the library and the train.
Just
and
library
Bob Ross and the Bob Ross champagne.
Me, Bob, and the library are just best friends. Me and the train are mortal enemies.
Enemies to lovers.
Ooh, spicy.
No, I only love Zachary. But I definitely resonated with that projecting on the others. And it's making me think too of like, so when we went to the beach this weekend, I was activated from childhood things and I recognized it, and I like let Zach know. I'm like, I'm having some flashbacks from stuff, like, just want you to know, like, I feel myself going there. And he's like, okay. And then there was a couple things I took that Zach said that weren't anything, and I was like defensive, and I was like, I don't know what I don't remember what they were. And he was just like, okay, I don't know what's going on, but like, if like, it feels like you think I'm attacking you with everything that I'm saying, and I'm like really not meaning that at all, and I'm trying not to come off like that. I don't think anything is in my tone. And like, just him saying that, I was like, oh, I am just on guard right now, so everything that you're saying is feeling like an attack, even though it's so not. And it's because of my own stuff that I'm projecting, and that I'm just in that state. And then after that, like, just recognizing that and like realizing that, I felt a lot better. And I don't think I felt like he was attacking me, or I wasn't waiting for him to attack me.
Yeah, and then there's this other layer of like, we as autistic people sometimes don't understand social cues, or we don't give off the right social cues, quote unquote, right social cues. And so, like, a lot of times with my partner, I'll be telling a joke or being silly or sassy or whatever, like, all well-intentioned. And he gets mad at me. And I'm like, I don't know where you got that from. I was just telling a joke. And he's like, no, you weren't. Like, you know, and then it kind of starts something. But, like, I think it's important to differentiate, like, people have misunderstandings. People can... that happens with people sometimes, but I think like the lack of social awareness and social cues, that's unique to us, that adds the extra layer on top of the miscommunications that we already would have as human beings.
Definitely. That was exactly where my mind was at, that like, we all have like our personal histories and personal takes, but I definitely agree with you, Sid, that like, I think the extra layer of beyond misinterpretation, just miscommunication, like, characteristic of autism is just having trouble with social things, having trouble with those social cues, having trouble with those social aspects. And I think that's where it can lead to more complications. Like, I know for myself, I feel like because of my not natural understanding of facial cues, and also, as I mentioned before, like, I just have a partner that's not super expressive. Like, I often am like, are you mad at me? Are you upset at me? And like, he's not. But like, when there's a gap, like, because I'm not picking up on whatever's happening, and I have whatever kind of own personal takes, like, it makes it harder to understand things and harder to kind of communicate and be on the same page.
Yeah, I was gonna say the other way of like, I don't know if it's due to having not understood, and so now becoming hyper aware, but I think like my hyper awareness and my partner's hyper awareness can lead to, it's like my partner has also finally figured out his neurodivergency. I didn't tell him. Yes. He says I'll tell him, but I just educated him on what autism and ADHD is, and now he is one of us. But so we both have that. We're both very hyper aware, like, not understanding. And so like, that can also lead to issues of like, you're being hyper aware, but if the other person is also autistic and you're hyper aware of neurotypical people, you're gonna like think that there's something wrong and like have to then do a check-in and like be like, no, I'm fine, I'm having a good time. Like, okay.
I also think there's a layer too of just like stereotypical dating of like, depending on the people you're around and depending on how people interact, like there's this idea of like, ooh, you're not supposed to say too much, like you're supposed to say no but actually you mean yes, or like someone's supposed to like flirt with you in a very subtle way, and that's a whole layer in itself of like, there's a lot of like subtleties for dating depending on the person and depending on what's going on that aren't always overt, and that can be even confusing too, where like maybe your partner or someone you're dating maybe means one thing and you interpret it as another thing.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's something we've gotten rid of in our relationship, of just like, just tell it out. Like, especially with like intimacy. Like, I don't think we're really going to go into intimacy much this episode because I think we need a whole, like, a ball game there. But like, most of the time with intimacy, like, you are following these like nonverbal cues and whatnot, and like my partner and I have both gotten into the trouble of like, we're just being friendly but people think we're flirting, like like this is, I'm just being nice, this is not flirting. But in terms of like our relationship, of like, sometimes I just want to make out but I don't want to have sex, but like you're following, and like you're following those cues, so like how do I don't want you to think that, and so now it's just like, do you want to have sex? Yes or no? Or like, can we just make out? And it's like, yeah. Like, okay. Like, just like, let's just like lay it out there, because like, I don't want to like make out. And then like, understandably, you're like, okay, this is going somewhere further. And then I'm like, no. I don't want to do any of that. And like, my partner is super respectful and like, will always stop. But I think just that like very blatant, like, this is my intention with these actions has really helped.
I think that's where sometimes like totally breaking those norms and just finding your own flow with a partner, especially if you are neurotypical and you might not pick up on those things or enjoy kind of those subtleties, like, can be really enjoyable. Like, this is a silly comment, but like, one of the things I enjoyed the most, like, now I'm just gonna give a preamble to stuff because I just find this funny. I have no idea if either of you even know this. So me and my partner like dated after college, but we actually like hung out in high school for like a small period of time. And I always think back to that time that the thing that stuck out to most to me was like my partner just very like subtly just being like, oh, you enjoy this, maybe you would enjoy XYZ more. And I was like, no. And like, it was fine. And like, I don't know. I think there's also just layers of being female and like expectations about men and this and that. But like, I think that can be a really nice thing about like our relationships, if you hopefully can be in one that feels really affirming and really communicative, is like you find your own flow with things. And like for some people, maybe they don't really like that bluntness, but I think for autistic people or neurodivergent people, sometimes that bluntness can feel really good, of like, tell me what's happening or tell me what's not happening. And then I'll feel better about it, of knowing what I have control over, knowing like, again, not the subtleties of like what's happening when someone's making out, like what's their expectation, just being able to say like, hey, is making out going to XYZ or is making out just making out?
I'm going to throw in a curveball.
Cool.
My relationship with Tyler started in LA, but I was living in New York. And I was only here for like 5 months. And I met him at the end of my 5 months. We also met on Tinder, which has its, you know, stereotypes, but it works because I married my Tinder boyfriend. But we were really only like seeing each other for about 3 weeks before I went back to New York. And then I lived in New York for over a year. It added this layer of like respecting each other's schedules. And there was a time difference. And then in addition to all of that, which has nothing to do with like anything related to autism, but he was living in his car at the time when I started dating him. But the foundation of our relationship was built on verbal communication. And I actually think that that helped us a lot as like two people, but also for me as an autistic person, because we learned how to talk to each other first. And that has helped us a lot.
Really quick, while I'm not really quick, like I'm in a rush. So
No rush.
no. Sydney was talking about her and Tyler met on Hinge. I mean Tinder.
Difference.
Zach and I met on
dare.
Hinge. Well, I just got my you guys, I'm autistic, and the wires got mixed up. You're making fun of me for my verbal processing.
Oh, Crystal, whatever. You had a disability, so now we have to be nice to you. Whatever.
So Sydney and Tyler met on Tinder. Zach and I met on Hinge, and I think like Zach was the only person I went out with from Hinge, and like my Hinge profile was just like so me, and I like purposely made it so me, and it was just like, all right, if you don't like this, like I had my fun fact was about cows, and like there was a picture of me with my head inside of a like dinosaur mouth. I don't know where I found like a dinosaur bone mouth, but and I think that really like helped. Everything was out there. But the reason I brought those up is because I recently found out about a dating app for neurodivergent people.
You're kidding.
That's cool.
No. Called Hickey. Hiki. And it was mentioned in Devin Price's book, and I was like, must write this down to say on podcast. So obviously I don't have any experience with it, but you can find love, find friendship, and find community. So
Kinda cool.
Maybe something cool.
I've never heard of that before.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. So I wanted to bring that up.
Something I'm wondering about, Sid, for you, since like you also had like a formal diagnosis, how do you feel like things change between you and your partner like after the diagnosis? If nothing, that's fine too, but I'm curious like if anything changed between you guys.
I don't think too much has changed except for the acceptance in the relationship. I definitely think that getting the diagnosis opened up avenues for us to approach challenges differently together and to anticipate challenges and to prepare for them. The other thing that comes to my mind is we got engaged not that long after I got my diagnosis. And I remember when we decided to, you kind of get engaged. You're like, yeah, we're going to get engaged. Let's just like save up a ton of money for a piece of jewelry, like whatever. We were kind of in that phase. So we had already kind of talked about like, we know we want to be together, but we're just not ready to like take that step. That's around the time that I was getting my diagnosis. And then I got my diagnosis and I had a conversation with him like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if I'm going to change. I don't know if we're going to change. I don't know what I'm going to need. This is all so new to me. And I feel very lucky because I was met with like love and acceptance, and whatever it is, we'll figure it out. And I think that's something that has been common, not just in my romantic relationship, but like all of my relationships of my friends, my family, everyone, is when I got diagnosed, one of the first things that I said to people and that people said to me is it's not going to change anything and I'm still the same me. And I think that I said that, one, because I had no idea what to expect and no one else had no idea what to expect, but also because it was kind of easier to not come at someone and be like, everything's going to change. All my skills are going to regress. I'm going to have to change my meds. I have to change my therapists. I'm going to have completely different coping mechanisms. I'm going to have to like leave loud events early. Like it's easier to just be like, I'm still the same person. And I'm still the same person, but I'm just a more authentic version of myself. When a lot of people are like, oh, I just get a diagnosis, it doesn't change anything. I'm still me. Like, yes, but you learn about yourself and you learn ways of communicating with other people that work better, and that improves your life. And therefore it is helpful to either self-diagnose or pursue a diagnosis.
How about you, Amanda? Like, I know you're fairly new in your like understanding
Our
you have
newest
autism.
member.
You're the newest member of the club, and you've been with your partner and known your partner for a long time.
Yeah.
How has that been navigating?
I mean, I think the first thing that comes to mind is like give a name to things. Like me and my partner have talked a lot, like post-diagnosis and even like pre-diagnosis, that like we talked a lot about like doing whatever works for my brain kind of thing. Like, no, like I've never had pressure in my relationship to like be a certain way or act a certain way. Like my partner's just always been very loving of like, just do whatever works for you. But like now we have a label for it because it's like, I don't know, there's just like a lot of things that like I didn't have a label for, of like, why did I get so angry when someone would like interrupt me when I'm in the middle of something? Like, why do I need a lot of extra time by myself? Like, why do I need time to transition from one thing to a next? Like, etc. Like, I think there is just a label now for those things, which I think makes it easier for us. I think the other thing that's changed is just me not fighting against it as much. Like, I think pre-diagnosis, like, I feel like I fought a lot against all the aspects of my autism because, like, I was just like, I'm neurotypical and I just need to try harder and I need to be different and I need to be better in different ways. And I think now, like, I am just like, okay, this is just how it is. And I think that's made things easier in some way, because I think it's also made it easier for both of us just to like learn and accommodate things so that I'm not like trying to push too hard, or like my partner loves me a lot and is willing to like help me with certain accommodations or try and like point things out. Like I think there's been several times my partner's been like, you don't need to come to the grocery store with me. Like that's going to really drain you in a way that like it's not going to drain him. Like him to go pop at the grocery store and buy a few items doesn't impact his day. For me, I'm going to go to the grocery store and then like that's the end of my day. I'm not doing much more else. So I think that's like the biggest change too, is like us just kind of working as a team to be like, okay, like how can we separate out these tasks a little different, or how can we like manage these situations a little different, or like again, like my partner just supporting me too, to be like understanding of things. Like I don't know, I'm just lucky to also have a partner that like doesn't really take things personally. So like I could be like, I'm just very like angry and frustrated because like I'm overwhelmed, and he knows it's not about him. But I think also again having that label is helpful to be like, no, it's really not. Like I'm overstimulated, like I'm in burnout, whatever kind of thing's going on, and it's not like I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at everything in the world because the world is too loud right now. So like that's I think the other thing that's kind of changed too.
And I think that's a really common experience pre-diagnosis. I feel like Sydney was talking about that a little too, because you are feeling those feelings and your brain is naturally going to look for the reason. And like it's going to create, even if it's not actually the reason, right? Now you understand you're autistic and you know, okay, I'm just overstimulated, or like my social battery's drained, so these things are bothering me. But prior to that, maybe then you're like to your partner, no, you were nasty to me, or like you did this to cause me to feel this way, and then that's going to start an argument. So I think that is really pivotal and helpful for your relationships. For me, I've realized in my, so like I've said, I was already in my discovery in meeting Zach and was in the like, okay, I'm going to accommodate for everything. But I think when I started out in the beginning of our relationship, it was more of like, I know how these things affect me, so I'm going to try to control you. And like, no, the way you're saying that is what's going to cause this. And like, oh, if you're going to be late, like I'm going to get upset and I know that already. So you need to make sure that you're not late. You need to leave early so that you can do this, or like, and it was a lot of like me trying to control his actions because I knew how I might react to it. And then I kind of shifted to like, okay, I know I might react to things this way. Like, how can I manage that distress? Because like, he's not actually doing anything wrong, right? Like, people are late. He was traveling from Jersey to Brooklyn, like happens. And I was just be like, but just call me and tell me, rather than be like, okay, no, actually I can do this myself. I can use some strategies to calm my body and realize that he's just stuck in traffic and that everything's okay. So I think that's a big shift for me. Like I always was like, okay, this is the problem. Here's my reaction. How can I fix the problem? But you can't always fix the problem.
Right. I appreciate you kind of saying that, because like I think that's a trap that can happen. Not trap. I don't know how else to explain it, but like a thing that can happen of like, this is very much upsetting me, so like you need to change. And like I think that's natural to occur, and that only goes so far. Like there's some things that your partner might be like, are like, I don't know, like you don't like fish, I won't cook fish when we're having dinner together. Like that's an accommodation that maybe your partner can do, and it really doesn't impact their life. But like you said, your partner might not be able to control every time they're late if they're trying their best to like leave on time. Like sometimes there's traffic, sometimes there's accidents, and there's only so much you can do. And I think that's where it goes back to the stuff we talk about a lot of like accepting yourself and learning how to take care of yourself. Because yes, your partner can do some things to kind of like help some things go a little bit easier in your life, but also like the same way that we want to be authentic and accept ourselves, hopefully our partner also wants to be authentic and accept themselves. And hopefully that means that that you're both being yourselves. And sometimes both being yourselves can clash and can be hard. I saw an interesting video of like this woman who's neurodivergent, and she was talking about like her spouse every morning was making like espresso for her. And then she was starting to get really angry and agitated and upset because like he was making it, but not on her schedule, not on the time that she wanted to do it. And it was kind of like messing with her day. And they have this kind of agreement in their marriage of like, if you're the person who if your partner is doing something satisfactory, like he was making the coffee, but it just wasn't to the time and expectation that she had it, in their marriage, they kind of agree like, well, then you need to take over the task and you need to be able to manage it. And she's like, no, I make the coffee for myself. Granted, like, yes, I could wait and have him make the coffee, but it was really upsetting me to wait and have him make the coffee. And I feel like that's like such a helpful framework in general of like, yes, your partner can help you in some ways of like making foods a certain way, trying to communicate with you in certain ways, trying to like live life with you in certain ways. And there might have to be some times that like either you take over the task or you learned how to manage your reactions to that task or to that moment. And like all this is easier said than done. Like this is not perfect, especially like if you are late diagnosed and don't know like what bothers you or what upsets you. But I think it is hopefully something idealistic that can be aimed towards of like everyone trying to find their own flow in their own personal relationships.
I was like wanting to jump in, but then you said it, because I think in a past relationship, I felt our rigidity can be really hard with certain things, right? We want things done a certain way. We want things done the right way, our right way at a certain time, whatnot. You can't take everything on yourself. And how many of those tasks that your partner does for you incorrectly can you take on when then you're just doing everything? Like, I think that is an important, because I used to go that way. Like, well, if you're not going to do it right, I'm just going to do it. But then I'm just doing everything because you're not doing anything right. You can't do everything right because you can't do anything right because you're not me. Like, you can't do it exactly the way I would do it. So I need to let go and learn how to let go of a little bit of that control. And I think, like, you know, there's a lot of mental health issues that come along with, or that are comorbidities with autism and ADHD. And we might have some of those, and seeking mental health help can really help you deal with that. Like, I was thinking about that with, like laundry, and I have a very specific method of laundry and like where certain clothes, and it's weird, like where certain clothes go. Like not all my underwear go in the same place. Like the underwear I wear during the week goes in one place, and then like my backup underwear goes in another place, and then like certain shorts go in one place and certain shorts go in another place. And like Zach has worked really hard to learn where they go. And like sometimes they're not in the right place. And I don't get upset. I just move them. And this was actually a conversation we had to have because he was like, I don't want to put the laundry away because I do it wrong. And then I see you moving it. And I was like, but I'm not mad. I'm okay with that. Like, I'd rather you do that and me move the couple things than have to always and only be the only one putting that away. Whereas, like, in the past, I might have just done that. I might have just, I'm the one who does this because you're not going to do it right.
I have the same, like, kind of thing with Tyler, my husband. He is, bless his heart, he loves a clean house. He vacuums 3 times a day. He does the litter multiple times a day. Like, he's putting the pillows where they go.
Can he come to my house?
This is why we need to live in a commune.
Right.
Tyler can clean.
My house is not run like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, people come over to their house and they're like, you didn't have to clean for us. And we're like, we didn't. This is just like what it looks like. But he's very particular about the way that he cleans. So I guess it's like kind of your situation, Crystal, but like a little reversed where like he's particular about how I do it. And then I have to not perceive it negatively. Like, for example, he's always the one to like initiate cleaning the house. And then he's running the show. And I'm like, I'm the one who's like, give me a task. Because if I step in and I start using the multi-purpose spray, he'll be like, that's not the order we go in. We dust first. And I'm like, well, my brain thought it was the other way. I don't know. And so I usually say, like, give me a task. And so I do the task. And then he, a lot of times, will be like, did you do it? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I still see dust. And I'm like,
oh my goodness.
Sir.
Right, then it's your task, Tyler.
Like, just do it. So I do my best, but like sometimes I just don't like see the dust, or I think I've done an adequate job of vacuuming the spot or whatever. So I have to like just accept that he has a higher standard for that kind of thing than I do. And I do. And look, I'm very lucky to have a partner who does most of the cleaning. Like, I totally acknowledge that. And I let him do his thing because it's great for me. But I want to help. And so I try. But sometimes I fail by his standards.
Everyone's going to have their own expectations and ways that they want certain things to happen in their life, whether it's things in their home or certain ways of communication or certain activities. And I think it's hard on a baseline to mesh that with another person. It can be even harder when there's neurodivergencies there. And I think it's like figuring out together with your partner, like how that works.
I think too, the difference, or not difference, but like something to keep in mind is like, how is it affecting you? If it's not affecting Tyler to do all the cleaning and like he likes it and he's physically okay with it, like, all right. Or like, is it gonna really bother him that place is not dusted to the point where like he cannot function, right? Like, and that's the only thing that he's gonna think about, and like he can't handle that. Like, okay, like then we need to do it a little differently. And just like you talked about with Elliot with the grocery store, like how is this going to affect their day? Because I go into the like mind battle of like meeting each other's needs and whose needs are more important. It feels like, okay, my needs are more important at that moment because it's going to have a bigger effect than me, and I don't love that. Like when we were on vacation, I don't remember what the situation was, but like I wanted to do it this way and Zach wanted to do it the other way, and I was like, I'd already like had to do things multiple specific ways for myself, and I was like, okay, no, we could just try it that way and I'll see how I feel. And he was like, no, I really don't mind, and it's gonna be harder for you to handle that transition than it is for me to handle it, so let's just do it that way because it's not gonna bother me as much.
Something that has helped me a lot is to always assume the best of intentions with my partner. Like, I think it's really easy to fall into like, they're trying to make me upset, or they're trying to provoke me, or they're mad at me and therefore they want me to suffer, or whatever it is, or they care about themselves more than they care about me. And if if your romantic partner, this is true with friends too, but in this case, if your romantic partner is choosing to be with you and choosing to live with you and choosing to wake up every morning and see your face and talk to you and help you through challenges and be there for you and have fun with you, like, I would think that they would be okay if you needed something done a certain way, or if you couldn't go to the grocery store that day. Because like I can't go to the grocery store every day, every weekend. We have a routine where we do our errands, we get coffee, and then we go to the grocery store, we run our errands. But like sometimes I cannot go, and he goes, and it's okay. And the way that I've like worded that is partly to assume the best of intentions, and like if to remember my partner loves me and he is choosing to do this nice thing for me, and I am very grateful for that. But the other thing that I think about, which I tell a lot of people, so if you're my friend, you've probably heard me say this before. So sorry, but it's true. I think it's true. Relationships are not about equality; they're about equity.
Mm-hmm.
Relationships are not you do 50% of the work and I do 50% of the work. It's what I can manage and what you can manage to do as much as we can together. Like, I dislike doing the dishes very strongly. He likes doing the dishes. I let him do the dishes. He chooses to do the dishes. We're happy. I also I think as women and female presenting people, like, we grew up in a society where like we're supposed to like do everything. At least that's how I kind of grew up and learned about life, and it's just like not true. So my husband, who is a man, cleans, does the dishes, and cooks his own meals, does his own laundry, makes the bed before I do. Like, I had to unlearn everything that I had learned before, just as like, separate from neurodivergency. But yeah, it's about equity. It's not about equality.
Yeah. And it's also about ebbing and flowing, right? Like,
yeah, the equity
it's not
changes.
going to always be the same. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that maybe all of our partners, we are really lucky women.
Yes.
And we have men who are like, they worship us, and like in the best way possible. Understandably. Like they're
this is
they
the
really
part
are.
They should listen to, not the rest.
They are extremely incredible men. And I sometimes worry that like my partner doesn't tell me his needs and always puts my needs above his. And that's something that we've worked on, of like, you're going to burn out too. Like, just because I need more, like, doesn't mean your needs aren't valid. Like, you need to tell me your needs too. And he's like, we have worked on that. And like, it can be hard to, like, Sydney's talking about a perfect example and perfect life of like, Sydney hates dishes, Tyler loves dishes, I hate dishes, and Zach hates dishes. We both hate dishes and we both have sensory issues. So like, it's just a compromise that we have to make of like, who's doing it. So it's like, if you cook dinner, I do the dishes. If I cook dinner, you do the dishes. So like, that's kind of how but sometimes I'm like, I just can't do it. Like, please, can you do it today?
We're always going in with thought of like best intentions. Like,
yeah,
he loves me, I love him. We are a team, we're doing this together. Sometimes you don't always do the things that you like to do on a team, but you're still striving towards the same goal to get to the place you want to be together.
Yeah, and like understanding that you both have needs.
I'm trying to recall if there's famous couples therapists. I'm trying to recall if I've heard it from them or just heard it from regurgitations of other things online. But there's this one idea of like, a relationship is 100%, but it's not everyone has the same 100%. And like, it might be today I'm coming in and I'm like, I've got 20%, and my partner's like, I've got the 80. Or like, you come in sometimes and you're like, I've got the 70%, you've got the 30. Like, it's having that communication with your partner and figuring out like you even said, Crystal, like, you might both hate dishes, but maybe at that day someone has more energy and the other person has less energy. Or Sid was kind of talking about of like, there's certain things for maybe Sid's partner, like, he doesn't mind cleaning, it doesn't drain his energy, but maybe for Sid, like, it does. And I think it's figuring out that combination with your particular person while also just kind of bearing in mind everyone's mental health, everyone's intricacies, because too, like, it also honestly, unfortunately, might be days of we're both coming in with 20. How can we get that 40 to maybe be up to 45%? And also maybe days it's being like, screw the dishes, we're not doing them, or maybe we're buying paper plates, or maybe we're finding other ways of like making things work. And I think my last thought with all this too is like, none of it's perfect. Like, we're talking about in 1 hour the time spent, like the lives of our relationships, but that doesn't talk about every nitty gritty conversation, every up and down with our relationships. And I think relationships are hard for everyone. They might be hard in a different way for us because of our neurodivergencies, but I don't think most people look at it as like the easiest thing possible. Like, you are both being vulnerable ideally and being communicative ideally and trying to figure out how to build a life together when both of you have your own personal histories and own personal mental healths. And I think that's a messy process with all of this.
Yeah, and it can always change, right? Like, understanding that things are going to change and that you can, like, I think revisiting things, but not too much. Like, revisiting things when you're in, like, a good headspace rather than when you're in the midst of the feelings has been, like, a key thing for me. Because otherwise I would sit and spiral in the feelings and not like, not get to a solution. And taking that step back to be like, okay, let's do this on another day, because right now we're not going to get anywhere, or we're not going to get to the right place, has been a big thing for us.
It sounds like you're screaming.
Oh God, oh God. Thanks for the sensory issues, guys. For our listeners that are not watching, Crystal has a lovely crystal ball with a sunflower in it that she brings every time at the end of our podcast for our sunflower spotlight. So definitely take a watch one day if you want to see what that crystal ball looks like.
Sunflower Spotlight is a segment where we highlight different members of the neurodivergent community. We chose a sunflower to represent this segment to bring awareness to the Hidden Disabilities Sunflower Organization. They provide education to organizations and merch as a simple tool for you to voluntarily share that you have a disability or condition that may not be immediately apparent. So Amanda, do you want to talk about our Sunflower Spotlight for today?
Sure. So I'll show their Instagrams in a moment, but today I'm going to talk about Jay and Pamela. So they have a TV show on TLC called Jay and Pamela, where they talk about their lives and their relationship and about their disability. So both of them have this disability called osteogenesis imperfecta, also known as OI type 3, which is a genetic disorder that's like also known as like brittle bone disease. So basically with this disorder, it means that like they're very fragile, they have low bone mass, frequent fractures, things of that sort. So both of them happen to have this disease. And a lot of the show is about like the two of them dating, the two of them getting married, like navigating their relationship, navigating their health. And something that's also very interesting is particularly Jay in the couple has autism. So he also mentions sometimes like stuff about his autism. And what's also just helpful too is like we always want to kind of spotlight people that are a little bit different than us and have different experiences. So as well, Jay is transgender. So sometimes in the show too, they talk about navigating that and navigating Pamela's family and her family's reactions about it, just navigating the different things with that. So I think they're just really cool people. I honestly really love the show. Like they also talk a lot about like sexual intimacy. They talk a lot about just like, I don't know, normal dating things. Like I watched the other day an episode, they're talking about trying to navigate laundry like we were talking about today. So I think it's really cool just to see some different folks and how they navigate their relationship. I'll share real quick Pamela's page, and then I'll also share Jay's page and just like one of his quick videos about his autism. For our folks that are on video, you can see Pamela's page. She just kind of posts some like clips from the show, some pictures of herself and her husband, their different adventures together. So this one is Jay's page. So there's a bunch of posts there again, living his life. He's also a producer, so he talks about like making music and stuff. But particularly, what I find interesting is every once in a while he'll post something about his autism. So he like posted this video around like Coachella and talked about like he's too autistic for Coachella. So I'll just kind of play this video real quick.
I'm too autistic for Coachella. Back in 2023, I was a part of this program called the Accessible Plus program, which was for people of color that are also disabled to be able to go to Coachella. My dad and I, we go together. We got a hotel and everything because I'm not sleeping in a tent. They had the whole accessible tent situation. No. I said, that's where I draw the line. I'm going to be at a hotel. We would get to the festival and all that stuff. Obviously, I knew there were going to be a lot of people. 100,000 people. It also made me realize how tired I get at a certain time because I could just not hang for all them late concerts. And unfortunately, when Bad Bunny performed, I was not there. We just headed back to the hotel. It was about close to 2 a.m., I believe. My wife always laughs. She's like, how are you not going to see the headliner? How are you not going to see Bad Bunny? I'm like, girl, I was tired, okay? I had been there all day. I couldn't do it. I would go again if I'm going with my wife. I just had to tell you about that because I was just thinking about that time at Coachella.
So you can go ahead and check his page out. His just is called Mini Producer. And for Pamela, hers is, I'm not sure if I know how to pronounce it. So it's JEFAMELA official, JFamela official. So this is their Instagrams. Again, if you are interested in learning more about them or even just like learning more about their lives, highly, highly recommend their show, Jay and Pamela. They're really cool people.
Thank you guys for sharing your stories. Special shout out to Zach, Tyler, and Elliot. Thanks for being really great partners to us. To end us off with a quote, which I think we talked a lot about how communication is the thing to trying to make any relationship work, and that communication may look differently than you thought it would. So the quote today comes from Virginia Satir. Communication is to relationships what breath is to life.
I love that. That's very true. Thanks for joining us today. If you enjoyed what you heard or saw or whatever, give us a like and follow us on Instagram for more content. Subscribe to us on YouTube and on Spotify. We put out new episodes every Thursday. And also, tell us about your relationships. Spill the tea. We want to know. What's good, what's bad, what's ugly.
Yeah, what helps your relationships work?
That's our new podcast. We do one of those dating ones where it's like, ask whoever, and they give like dating advice.
Yeah, we give dating advice.
Oy.
I mean, we wound up with good partners, so
Yeah.
I think we're doing something right.
be brutally honest and don't worry about it.
Every single answer I give is just gonna be like, break up with your boyfriend.
Yeah, he kind of sucks. Find a better one. I do feel that way. I'm like, if it's not as good as Zach, you should just find a better one.
I have high standards.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, love you, bye!
Okay, love you, bye.